up. Ah, yes, my man.
What's up, G? How's it going?
Mate, you've just made this live look 10 times better. You are looking super cool.
I try. You know, I tell everybody I'm the prettiest champ, so I mean, I gotta fit the mold. You know what I'm saying?
Mate, that belt looks good on you. It looks fantastic.
I try. You know, it's been a long time coming. It's been a lot of work. You know, a lot of dedication in the gym. A lot of fights this year. 4 fights, 4 knockouts this year. So I'm happy.
Yeah, you must be
3 knockouts.
Yeah, you must be over the moon. Listen, welcome to the Gunman Insta Live. This is a platform that I've set up to interview fighters of all levels. We have guys doing their first white collar fight, right up to guys like Bernard Hopkins coming on this live to talk and share their journey with the fight fans. It is an absolute pleasure and honor to host you today. For anyone that does not know this man, he is a dynamite, powerful powerhouse puncher, Misfits heavyweight king. This is Chase Demoor. Thank you for coming on, champ.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Like I said, man, it's been a long journey. It's been a long time coming. And, you know, it's like I said, after a victory against Kells, you know, we're going to be the best champ that ever has been on Misfits. And, you know, we're already ready, back in camp, getting ready to go defend it.
Yeah, brilliant. Listen, let's talk straight about that fight. Let's get stuck straight in. No silencer, no safety catch. Let's just talk about your last fight with Kells. Can you just talk us through it? I mean, obviously, you lifted the belt. You are now the new king of the Stellar division. Can you just talk the fight fans through that last fight? How were you satisfied with the performance?
You know what it is. What it is with a fight like that, it's tough because you know, we had a lot of adversity going into that fight. You know, obviously we got the fight last minute. It was very unfortunate because we were getting ready to fight Temple Arts in the rematch that was long awaited. You know, so you know, we were going into camp. We're training for a guy that's 5'10". That throws a lot of overhands, and you switch it with 3 weeks notice to a giant that is Kells, and that's not taking credit from Kells, but he's a big man. I'm a big man. That's a bigger man. So you know, changing opponents that drastically and styles and coaching staffs, you know, 3 weeks before a championship fight all the way out in the Middle East, it's a tough ask. So
yeah,
you know, we implemented a game plan and we went out there and we executed the game plan. So.
Were you happy? Happy just to get?
We got the belt.
Yeah, exactly. Are you happy just to get the W and get out of there, and the performance and the fight not matter too much?
Yeah, you know, the thing is like, it doesn't matter if you go out there and you have a really shitty performance, a really great performance. All that matters is you get the win. You know, it's a fight game. You know, we don't get paid for you know, overtime. We don't get paid for. So, you know, you want to get in there and you want to get the job done. And obviously, like, you know, we wanted a knockout and we went for the knockout. But, you know, if you watch the fight in details, you know, in terms of technical boxing, you know, a lot of people have critiqued me on my technicality. Speaking, it was a great chess match. You know, all commentary aside, it was a great, you know, we got in, we used our feet to win the fight, and we outboxed a guy that was much bigger than us.
Yeah.
And, you know, the thing is, it's hard to knock somebody out that's in there just trying to survive. You know, you have a guy that big. Every time we got close, we were getting put in a guillotine, or we're getting grabbed. It becomes difficult, you know. We landed some big shots. We put him down once. You know, we kept on trying to knock him out, but you know, every time we got anywhere near him, he's such a big guy. You know, it's hard to stay away from that clinch, and he just kept grabbing me. So.
Yeah, that actually came on to my next question. Like, you know, you've been critiqued about your technique quite a lot, and I just wanted to ask you how you respond to that, because it is annoying when you got, you know, man from the pub telling you how to throw a jab. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's not. It happens in this sport. You know, you get all these guys that have never done it, and they say, "Oh, he's useless. His technique's no good." Blah blah blah. But actually, you probably got one of the best 1-2s in the game, which is probably the most basic punch combination in the game, and you can win fights alone, as you know, just jab and 1-2, just with those buttons, you can win fights.
Yeah.
You don't need to be doing these like 9-piece combos and corkscrew uppercuts and things like that. You don't need to. You can win a fight with a jab and a 1-2. You know?
Yeah, you know where it comes from? It comes from all these drunk people at a pub that watch a Rocky movie or watch some sort of Muhammad Ali skit. They think, oh, this is how boxing should be. But they don't understand that heavyweight boxing is a risky sport. You start trying to do all that pretty fancy stuff, you're gonna get knocked out.
Yeah.
Kel's knocked out his last guy. Kel's a big, powerful guy, and I take no credit to him. I never walked away from a fight with damage until I fought Kells, and that was with great technical boxing. And in terms of what boxing is, it's the art of hitting and not getting hit. So we come in there, we get our jab, we get out of there. I have the fastest jab in the division by far in heavyweights. In Misfits, I have a good 1-2, and we practice that all the time. And I have an 84-inch reach. All you need is a 1-2. We don't need to do all those 15 piece combinations. We win the fight. And
that's what I mean. You don't need the bargain bucket. You don't need the 10-piece.
Exactly.
You don't need the 10-piece combo. You know what I mean? You just need to. The basics will win you fights, and a lot of fight fans don't. Guys that haven't fought before, they don't recognize that. Listen, a 1-2 is a killer shot, and your jab that will get you all the way around the world. Does it annoy you when you take criticism when people say that your balance is bad and your hand positions are poor and saying your technique's not up to scratch? Does it annoy you? Be honest.
What it is guys that are sitting at home watching me on TV. I'm getting paid. I'm in fights. I'm the champ. And they can cry all they want. They can critique all they want. But listen, at the end of the day, they're going to wake up and they're going to go to work tomorrow. And I'm going to go polish my belt.
Yeah, exactly. And you look good while you're polishing it as well, Mr. Chase. So listen, the heavyweight division is the stellar division in the boxing game. It is where the big boys come and bang. And what it means to really be the heavyweight Misfits champion, it should mean that you should be able to bad up any man on the roster. No man on this roster can step to you. That's what it means. So that must feel good, mustn't it?
Listen, look, you see I'm dressed like the sheriff. I got my badge right here. I'm now the sheriff. I've been saying this, since the day I started boxing, I said I'm going to be the champ. And, we fought the hardest guys. Like, we never got easy fights. That's something like I can credit to myself in the division. We never fought influencers. We always fought, Josh Bruckner, with 9 fights already in our first debut. We fought Alan Belcher being the bare knuckle heavyweight champion on third fight. We never got easy fights. And I've already cleared my track record. I haven't lost a fight. I don't know how long. I keep knocking guys out. And I fight. What's crazy is I was so confident that I was winning this belt that I booked the fight the very next weekend. So I fought Thanksgiving that Thursday. I flew home. Slept in my own bed. Got up, went down to Mexico, and fought a guy on BoxRec that was a star fighter.
That's brilliant.
That was only within 7 days.
Yeah. Listen, you're going to be targeted now. You've got that belt though, Chase. You do realize that, because when you're heavyweight king, you're expected to knock the sonic rings out of anyone who steps in the ring with you. You're expected to be able to park any man up that steps to you. That's what it is.
Exactly. And you know what it is? It's like being the heavyweight guy. It's like, doesn't matter who's in this division. It's like, I'm the heavyweight champ. So it's like you can put the lightweight champ in there, the cruiserweight champ in there, whatever, and I'm battering them.
Exactly.
I'm all up. I'm now the best fighter on Misfits.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm Godzilla. I'm the king of kings at this point in time until somebody comes and takes it from me. And I don't see that happening. And obviously, the difference between me and a lot of the other people on the Misfits roster is, they only fight once, twice a year on Misfits. I fight. I'm going to fight again in January. I'm going to fight again in February. I'm going to be back on Misfits in March, so I'm staying busy. I have a plan to fight 15 times next year.
Oh, mate, that's serious. Oh, wow, that's a serious effort. That's a serious... Listen, when are you going to have time to go out on dates? If you're always fighting all the time. You know what I mean?
It's like my dad used to tell me when I was a kid. He goes, the girls will always be there. You can always go on dates. Listen, go make your money, go build a legacy, go knock some people out, have fun along the way. And then, when you're ready to,
settle down
and let somebody else have a little bit of fun.
Absolutely.
We'll be at the pub criticizing someone.
Yeah, you could be in the pub saying he's not throwing that jab properly. That's
exactly. Somehow I'm winning fights, but I don't know how to fight, apparently.
Yeah,
that's the critics.
That's absolutely crazy. One thing though, I mean, I think this was Mans Taylor's words on the commentary that it wasn't a great fight between you and Kels. It was messy. It was messy. It was like Lionel Messi, that kind of messy. It was real messy. At times, it was wilder than Deontay in there. Some of the punches are going in. No, a lot of wrestling, a lot of grappling, a lot of pushing on the ropes. Is that a fight that you wouldn't entertain rematching? Because of that,
I would like to see the rematch. I said to Kels, I'd give him the rematch. He needs some time to develop as a fighter. But here's the thing: if I break down the facts for you, if I look at the facts right now, we beat him by unanimous decision in a 5-round fight with a point deduction.
Yeah.
You know, the fight was never a close fight. The problem is when you go in the ring, and I said this to man, but I told him, I was like, the commentary starts steering the audience the wrong way, and that's why people run their mouth. You turn the commentary off, you watch the fight, it's not a bad fight. I posted highlights of me literally yelling at the referee in the middle of the fight, telling him to fight. You know, every time I got close, Kels is walking at me with his zombie arms like this. Every time I get close, I'm getting put in a chokehold, and it's literally me pushing him off and yelling at the referee. And I don't understand. I don't know if you understand, like in boxing, how much energy it takes to keep a man that's 40 pounds heavier, 20-something kilos heavier than you, from putting you in a chokehold. And I'm getting choked out in the middle of the fight. There's nothing I can do with that. I was there. I was engaging. I had the bigger shots. I was fighting when I could fight. And it's just like every time, we got into the clinch, it's annoying. But, he was doing the best of his ability to not get knocked out and to survive. And credit to him because it's an experienced boxing move. I'm sure his coaches were like, listen, tie up if you're tired, and don't go down. But, at the end of the day, you win a unanimous decision with a point deduction. That says enough about the fight.
Styles make fights as well. And I was at a fight show at the weekend, and there was one guy who was just button bashing. Do you know what I mean? And it's actually hard to fight against someone who's button bashing. If you've ever sparred, when you're sparring, if you're sparring with someone who's technical, you could have a nice move around, a really enjoyable move around. If you sometimes get a rookie in there and he's just like coming, pressing all the buttons and seeing what happens, it's hard to look good against, isn't it? So I think I just think that was a hard fight. Even if you had that fight again, I think it's going to be hard for you to look good against Kels. I just think your styles just don't gel. Is that fair to say?
What it is it's a clash of styles because, when you got big guys like that, his whole life, you got to look at Kels' life. In terms of him, he's always been a really big, scary guy. So he probably hasn't had to fight a whole lot. And I should have known from the press conference when he was grabbing my ponytail and putting me in a chokehold that's what he's going to do. Because big guys like that, they like to just grab and wrestle to the ground because they're so much bigger than it, but they never had to get up there and scrap.
Yeah.
And so the styles of him and I, because we're both big guys, but the thing is like I'm more athletic, I'm faster, and I know how to box, So in terms of when I'm trying to be technical and I'm trying to box and he's just throwing wild punches, it's like in my head I have to be very conscious of it because if one of these wild punches I don't even know where it's gonna come from clocks me and I get knocked out, it's gonna look really, really silly. So in our head, Coach Gary and I, we had a game plan that we implemented going into the fight. We're saying, look, he's a lot of muscle. He's way heavier than you. He's taller than you. Listen, this is what you're going to have to do. We're going to have to attack the body. We're going to throw a lot of feints. And if you watch like the first round, we were coasting the first 3 rounds before, the chokeholds and laying on top of us, started laying into fatigue. But a 5-round fight at heavyweight, it's my first 5-round fight. At heavyweight's a lot of rounds. And so we were throwing a lot of fakes. We were attacking the downstairs. And, Kel started realizing that. So every time, we were coming in for the fight, instant chokehold, instant grappling. It's hard to make a fight out of that. Nobody, Usyk, Fury, anybody who's in there with a giant that big is not looking good against somebody that doesn't know how to box and is that big.
Yeah, no, that absolutely makes sense. That absolutely makes sense. Also, Big Tobes, who Kels just beat, is very keen to fight you, I understand. But who's actually next on your hit list? Who on Misfits? Who's on your hit list? Who do you want to bruck up?
Listen, so the way it's gonna work is I'm calling the shots down.
The A side.
It's not gonna be like tough. Like everybody wants to fight. Uriah Hall wants to fight. Roman Fury wants to fight. Like I'm telling everybody, get in line because the way it's gonna work is Tobes is not fighting. I'm not fighting Tobes. You just got knocked out by the guy I beat. You're not beating me. So if he knocked you out, I'm definitely knocking you out. 2, it's like, can you imagine if I gave him a shot at the title and he got knocked out by the guy I beat for the title? This doesn't make sense. Those 2 need to fight, or there needs to be some sort of like heavyweight nonsense to let the influencers determine who's going to be the #1 contender. In the meantime, my focus is on bigger names. Like, I don't care to fight influencers. No influencers are beating me. Like, I'm just going to be.
So who are we going to call out then? Who should we call out then? Who we putting?
You know what it is? Is like a fight that I'm really interested in entertaining is there's 2 guys on mine. One of those being Roman Fury. Everybody wants to see me fight Roman Fury.
Yeah.
He's a professional. He's got 5 wins. He fights on his brother's cards. He's got a name. Doesn't have a following. He's not very entertaining. He's not very funny. He's not a good boxer, but he's got a name. So that'll carry him some weight. The second guy I want to fight is Ryan Borland. He fought Jake Paul last year.
Yeah.
He's
17-3
with like 9 knockouts.
Yeah, 17-3. Yeah.
He fought Jake Paul 197. He walks around over 200. That's something I'm interested in fighting. But if neither one of them want to fight, as far as I'm concerned, I'm looking at the cruiserweight tournament right now. I want to see the winner of that. I'd like to see. Obviously, I'm friends with Minicon. I'd like to see Minicon and Le'Veon fight for that thing in the title because I really like the both of them. But if there's a wrench in there and Josh Bruckner ends up winning that, Josh Bruckner is my first fight ever. I got memed because of him. I would gladly just drop a quick 20 pounds, come down to cruiserweight, fight Josh Bruckner for the cruiserweight belt, and be the first Misfits double champ.
Oh, mate, that sounds good. I don't know how you could just do a quick drop of 20 pounds. Love the way you could just talk like that, mate. It takes me an age just to drop a kilo. So Big Tobes is out then. He's not getting a shot. He's been beaten by the guy you beat, and you're not having it. You're not having it.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense if Tobes he's 0-1. He was A side. He lost the guy. It wouldn't make sense to fight him.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not just picking these guys and being like, hey, I'm gonna fight you. Like, you're not getting a shot at the title, buddy. Like, I want. I've had conversations with Mams. Like, there's obviously a bunch of people. If I wanted to do this the same way, like guys like HS and even KSI to an extent do, where you handpick your fighters and you're fighting all these easy guys. I can easily go pat on my record. I'm not in the business of that.
Yeah.
I'm in the business of I like challenges. Challenges make me work harder. I need like a good 8-week camp to fight anybody. And we're looking at Ryan Bowerland. He's a professional fighter. Like I said, 17-3, 9 knockouts. It's a good fight for me. Andre August. These guys that Jake Paul has fought that have professional records. I think that's a good test to see like where I'm at in comparison to Jake Paul. And eventually, I fight for the cruiserweight belt. I have the heavyweight, the cruiserweight belt, and we keep running up these pro fights, and then I challenge Jake Paul at the end of next year. So
yeah, that sounds good. Let's talk about the Tempo Arts fight quickly. So split decision. I for one thought you had nicked it. I'm not a judge. I thought you'd won it. What's your thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, you know what it is with that fight is it was really upsetting because we appealed it. Obviously, we had like a lot of. It was a very controversial fight. It made
very controversial
with the Dodgers referee. Yeah, it was all over the news. It was all over the USA News because it was like I've never been in a fight that was so one-sided and lost. The problem that I had with that is I think Tempo's a great kid. He's retired from boxing now, and I work with Gary Olive. Gary Olive is now my trainer.
Yeah.
The thing is in that fight, even back then I smothered a lot of my punches, but I still think like, it was never a point in that fight that I was losing. And, when we appealed it, it was really upsetting because, ours was the only appeal that took like a month and we knew something was sketchy. I had to sit in front of a panel of judges. I had to have conversations about it. And the thing is they sent me a letter in the mail. They didn't even call me. They felt really bad. Sent me a letter in the mail. They basically in the letter it said, we're really sorry. We side with you. We reviewed the fight. Even though we think that you won the fight, unfortunately, due to no outstanding circumstances, essentially meaning there was not like a pew-pew to the judge's head, we can't overturn the decision. We're really sorry.
Yeah.
Is that what they did?
I was going to say, is that going to stick? Is that going to be an itch in your back now for the rest of your career? Are you going to have to go back and try and get him back out of retirement, or just going to have to swallow it? Just going to have to swallow it.
It's always there. The option's always there. If he ever wants to come back and he wants to challenge for it, like You know what? I'll always say yes, but the thing is he was given multiple opportunities. You know what I was saying with the PBAs, they forced me to be as mandatory.
Yeah.
They couldn't force the turf decision, but they could force a mandatory.
Mm.
So we was actually supposed to rematch in January of this year in Leeds, but he said that he was not fully recovered from the fight. Okay, fine. So we ended up fighting Minokarn, and then we was meant to fight again in March. And then he said, he's like, oh, well, Chase got a tune-up fight, so I get a tune-up fight. And I'm okay, fine. Tune-up fight, fights nights. And then, it comes to the super card. You have to go through the Qataris. The super card finally gets approved.
Yeah.
They're going to let it happen. Man basically goes to him and goes, listen, it's either fight Chase or retire because, now at a certain point, it's coming off as ducking.
Yeah.
And, basically he had conversations with his team and stuff like that. And the best decision is like, I'm a high risk fight for him. It is what it is. And I'm not even just tooting my own horn. Whether I win or lose, it's a very high risk fight for him.
Yeah.
He wasn't getting necessarily the pay that he was wanting. So I think his reasoning was he wanted either a lot of money or a guaranteed fight on his contract if he lost. Because basically it was either retire or he fights, he loses, and he retires anyways.
Yeah.
I gave him credit as a former champ. I'm like, if your heart is not in this sport, you will get hurt. You could die in that ring. So if he wasn't dedicated, if he wasn't locked in, I could definitely see how that could, affect somebody's mentality.
Yeah, 100%. Why have you gone with his coach?
Do you know what it is? In the world of boxing, it's like if you block your blessings, you won't grow. And the thing is it's the oldest saying in the book. You can't beat them, join them, is it? The thing with Gary is Gary's actually a really smart coach. We get on well, and I think in boxing you have to have good chemistry with your coach. You have to know one another. And the thing with Gary is I've had a great relationship with Gary. We've been speaking over the phone. We break down fights together. It wasn't just like an all of a sudden thing that we bring him on. And we're coming up on the super card. And obviously with the retirement of Temple Arts and stuff, it cleared a lot of air and stuff. And so he asked to just come, be a part of the event and be there. And I was just like, yeah, of course. I got a great relationship with the guy. And, unfortunately my coach ended up not showing up for the fight. And so Gary got a promotion to the head guy. And, throughout that week, I was just really impressed with how he stepped up to the plate. He got a tough ass into implementing a game plan against a guy who probably hasn't lost a whole lot. I haven't, worked with him extensively enough to understand, where we're at in terms of boxing. And, he really stepped up to the plate. He was out there. He didn't miss a single meeting, weigh-in, interview. He gave me some really tough coaching in the corner between the rounds with Kelly. We're dominating this fight, and he's still like just motherfucking me in the corner. Like, you better get. He's young. You want me to stop this fight? I'll stop this fight right now. You better get out there and you jab his head in. I was like, Gary, we're winning the fight. Relax, bro. We're winning the fight. No. Give me that gum shield. You get out there. He's like, get off the stool. Pushes me back out there. And you know what it is like I was really impressed with that because. It takes a lot to step up to a plate and put your career on the line for somebody. And, he's a heavyweight, I'm a heavyweight. The story, it makes perfect sense if you really think about it, he beat me. He's the only guy to beat me, regardless if it's controversial or not. He did beat me, and I think I'm unbeatable. So can't beat him, join him.
One thing I must say about Gary Olive. So I'm always at loads of shows in the UK. Literally, I'm going around commentating, doing interviews at shows. I'm at a lot of shows, and people always say to me, "Oh, Gunman, you're really dedicated, you are." But the one person I always bump into at all of the shows is Gary Olive. Like, literally, his dedication is unreal. Like, he loves the sport. Do you know what I mean? And he loves it. Absolutely loves it. And I bump into him all the time. I like to think that we're good friends as well. We're always bumping into each other, always say all right to each other. Your improvements you've made in your boxing, not just under him, but since you started, is phenomenal. So it's a great time to get a coach like that on. You know what it is? It's
a lot of people think like I'm just like, it's like even Kels was saying like in the fight, he was like, you know, I give Kels immense credit because he got a really tough ask in terms of you got to fight Chase in your second fight. And I said this to him. I was like, your coach are sending you to slaughter. They're sitting there telling you to watch my first fight and you got it and you're way better than me. And it's just like people don't understand. Like boxing is such a game of experience. And I said when I got in that ring, I kid you not, when I got in that ring and they were doing the introductions, I looked right at KSI and Mam. I was like, you sent him in here to die.
Yeah.
You guys are dead wrong for this. You guys are dead wrong for this. And you know, he was in there. He survived. I'll give him that. He survived.
Survived.
But you know, that goes another round. He was getting knocked out. Let's be so clear.
Yeah.
And the thing is when you talk about in terms of improvement with boxing is victory can be your biggest enemy. And I had to learn the hardest way possible. You know, I fought Corey Warren on Social Gloves, my first fight. It was 3 2-minute rounds. I beat up a guy that's never boxed before. I thought I was the greatest ever. And so I didn't care to watch film. I didn't care to do any of this. And then, you know, you go fight Josh Bruckner and you find out what a gas tank.
Yeah.
You find out a little bit.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're faced with like an option, and your option is like you just give up the sport and you just listen to what everybody says, or you really lock in. And the problem that Kels made is Kels thought that I was out partying, that I was out not taking the sport serious, but he doesn't understand that, you know, I'm up at 5, 6 in the morning, I'm getting 7 miles in, I'm watching, you know, fights every single day, the Furies, the Usyks, the Tank Davises, every weight class. I'm always studying film. Every day before this. Good
to hear.
I took a shower. I gave him training, and it's just like I don't post it all the time. I don't talk about it all the time. People think I'm just dicking off.
Yeah.
But, like, I dedicate my entire life to boxing for the last.
You have to, man, because
it's my main thing now.
Yeah, you have to. Listen, with boxing, it's not a sport you can muck around in. Everyone says you can't play boxing. Listen, in boxing, you've either got to go hard or you go home. And if you don't go hard, then you might not go home. So you can't be messing around in this sport. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, listen, outside, couple of quick fire questions before I let you go. I appreciate your time and jumping on. You know, there's a bit of a time difference. Where are you based right now?
I'm in Los Angeles.
You're in LA, so you're like about 8 hours behind me. So we've had to do it at a different time. But listen, I'm just grateful to grab some time with you. Couple of quick fire questions then. Fury or Usyk this weekend?
I'm a big Fury guy, so I'm rooting for Fury.
Yeah, that's what the heart's saying. What's your head saying?
Usyk. Usyk, man. Usyk.
Yeah.
He's too good, man. He pushes
I think so.
the pace too fast.
I think so. Who else other than in your division, what other Misfits fighter excites you? As in,
It's always been Dean the Great, man.
Yeah.
It's Dean the Great, 100%. He's too exciting. He's the lightweight champ. That man's got a NyQuil in that right hand. He's too good, man. And they stripped him of his belt. It's really unfortunate, but nobody was beating him. So you know, I knew they were going to do that. So
yeah, you don't think little Cray Cray would beat him?
You know, I like Cray Cray. I think he's a good boxer, but there's no way. There's no way. I've seen both of them. I've seen them in person. Like Cray Cray's much smaller than Dean as well. It just wasn't going to happen. I didn't see it.
Can you give us your pound for pound Misfits top 3? And you only get 3.
Top 3. I'm going to give it to Dean the Great 1, Anthony Taylor 2, Anise Gibb 3.
Who would have won the Darren Till versus Tommy Fury fight, in your opinion, if that had happened?
I'm actually going to go back on my number 3. I'm going to say Salt Poppy's actually number 3 because I think Salt Poppy beats Gibb. So I'm going to give it to Dean, AT, and Salt Poppy.
Dean, AT, so yeah.
Answering your question.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Question about Darren Till and Tommy. It was definitely going to be Darren Till. Darren Till was beating Tommy 30.
Yeah, you reckon? Yeah, your top 3 is pretty mustard. Just going back to that last one, that's pretty mustard. It's pretty mustard. It's a fair shake.
It's a solid list. Those are the real top 3. Let's be so for real.
Yeah, but you can't really argue against. It's hard to argue against any of them not being in there. So that's a pretty solid top 3, I think. But yeah, anyone else in the chat got any questions? Fire them in. I'll quickly ask any good ones. So listen, we're expecting to see you out again in March. We don't know who you're going to be fighting. You never really gave me the hit list. Like, if money wasn't an issue, situation wasn't an issue, you can fight one guy. One guy. Can be Jake Paul, can be whoever you want. Can be Mike Tyson. You can fight one guy in the world. Your next fight, who would it be?
We want Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Styles make fights, right? He's wild. I'm wild. I think in a 5-round fight, I can avoid that right hand. I can outbox him. He's not a very good technical boxer. He's just got that right hand in it. So it's like, stay away from that. I think I'm quick on my feet. I think we're the same size. I think he's coming to the tail end of his career. And I just wasn't impressed with any of his last few fights. And I would like to see it. And win, lose, or draw that. I've never been knocked down in my career. So I would like to see what it's like to actually get punched and see where we're at.
Yeah. Listen, Wilder's another guy who gets a lot of stick about his technique, but he's got a bronze medal in Olympics, which is, you can't go to Olympics.
The guy's got a heavyweight championship. He's
yeah,
for real.
Exactly. He's won a world title. He's got a bronze medal at Olympics, which you can't surely go to the Olympics if you can't box at all. And he has got, again, one of the best 1-2s in the game. He's got a massive right hand, of course, but he has got one of the best 1-2s in the game. That'd be a really interesting fight, to be honest with you. I think, yeah, that'd be good. On the Misfit scene, and is there anyone that you want? Come on, give me a name. Who are we having?
Yeah. No, just in influencer fighting, obviously everybody wants Jake Paul, but I'm gonna let Jake Paul do his thing on MVP. But Logan, he's fought on Misfits. He fought Tommy. He's a heavyweight. Obviously, I'll go for Logan for now, and I think it's a good fight to make. We're the same size, the same build. He's a little bit wild, but we're both big names in the United States, so that'd be a good one. Yeah,
last question from me, my friend. And as I said, I really appreciate your time because I know you've been really busy, but it's great for people this side of the Atlantic to hear from you. I was going to say, what was your thoughts on Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson? Was it an absolute diabolical farce, or was it actually good for the game?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it was good in terms of bringing eyes to boxing. I'm glad to see that boxing is now one of the biggest sports in the world. He's done a great job promoting it. We will never take that away from him. But, at the end of the day, it was a lose-lose for him regardless. It was either lose to Mike Tyson, who's really old, or you beat up an old man. So credit to him for bringing eyes to the sport. He fought Mike Tyson. Not a lot of people are ever going to get to do that again.
Yeah.
I think, in terms of views and all that, you guys can say whatever you want. But, Mike Tyson probably beats up most average dudes anyways.
Yeah.
So,
can you understand?
It's not really average.
Can you understand why the purists don't like influencer boxing when they see a fight like that?
They're sitting at the pub having a beer after work.
Let them have beer. Yeah. Brilliant. Listen, thank you so much for coming on, Chase. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. I wish you the best of luck in your next fight. I think I'm going to be if you're at the Jan 18th show. I don't know if you're going to be at that. It's in Manchester. And I'm hoping I should be that one, and I'll probably be at the March
I'll be
one.
there, yeah.
I'm hoping I'll be at the March one as well. So I'm no doubt I'll catch up with you. But listen, it's been an absolute blessing to have you on. Thank you so much for your time. Great fighter and also a top gentleman. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Cheers.
Big up, my man.
Big up.